Morning. Be Friday. Today is March 13th. Friday the 13th. Great flick. I just have to catch that tonight. Hope everybody's having a good week. Today we pretty much have part 2 of the 29-inch board tracker, and I will be popping in from time to time to talk about a few things and what you might be looking at. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it and see what's happening at peak cycles. First things first is we're going to get the seat post in the frame. So I know where to set these dropouts. I want to push this rear end up as close to the saddle as possible. So I will be doing a laid back seat post for this frame. I've already bent this. This is 120 wall or 11 gauge. It's very thick, heavy. One of my common practices when I put the seat post in the frame is I use this magnet, so I get a nice 45 right there. It's kind of long, huh? So I made a mark there where the seat tube bottoms out in the hole there. You can see there. Take it over here. Gonna measure that line, which is basically an inch. I want the transition here to start right outside the frame. So as soon as the transition ends is where I'm gonna measure that inch down so I know where to cut. And then I'm going to add 1/8 because it's always better to have a little more material than not enough. Let's go ahead and cut this down and we'll check back on this in a minute. And so we have it cut down and centered and level. What I like to do is take the level and put it on the base of the frame here, and then I compare it to what's going on up here to make sure that they are running parallel and in line. Go ahead and tack this in, put the saddle on, and see how we're looking. Boom. And we're looking pretty good here. Basically cut the seat tube to the length where it bottoms out here on the undercage of the saddle, which means we can't move any more forward. Move the saddle all the way back, and we are basically looking like this. Be surprised what a couple few inches can do for your inseam. Let's go ahead and tighten this down. Figure out where we need to put those dropouts and check back on this in a bit. Wanted to touch on a few things in regards to the laid back seat post. One of the first things is that I had mentioned I cut the seat post so that it would bottom out on the undercarriage of the saddle. And one of the first things you're probably thinking is, hey, you got that hardware on upside down. I've actually been doing that for a long time. When I was building stock bicycles, long before I started fabricating, I was trying to figure out a way to lower the saddle. And if you flip this hardware the other way around, you actually can lower that saddle by another inch or so. I also personally think that it's much cleaner look. You're tucking that hardware up underneath the saddle. The other thing is with the laid back seat post, you're trying to increase inseam. And on a normal over-the-counter stock bicycle, you do that by raising the saddle. But in the custom cruiser world, everybody wants that low saddle and that low stance. You don't want your saddle all the way up here. So by adding a laid-back seat post, you're able to slide it back, still keep the saddle at that low stance, and still increase inseam. Let's keep it moving. So we pushed the dropouts forward substantially. I made a mark here of where we were. We basically moved forward about 4.5 inches, and that's based on the fact that the jig was set up for a tail dragger type 2 or a longer wheelbase frame like that. This being a Boardtrack frame, we want a shorter wheelbase. I know the distance we needed between the axle and the saddle. I also made a point of having the saddle pushed all the way back. Gave myself another inch or two of clearance here, and this is where we're at. I'm gonna put this camera on a tripod. We're gonna hold up one of the wheels that is intended for this frame and see how we're actually looking. This here is one of the actual wheels built for this frame, built by Mr. Warren Wong. Did a whole segment on these wheels, and I still have people chiming in asking, hey man, where do you get those wheels? Where do you buy 29s? Warren Wong. And before anybody chimes in and says, hey man, you're putting the front wheel on the back, I'm well aware this is just for mock-up. The back wheel's in the office wrapped up, and this is just to get a look. Diameter is the same. And so we will be sitting just about like that. Put the tire on. It's good to me. Let's keep it moving. Just want to jump in here real quick. I know I'm poking fun at people asking questions, and I love when you ask questions. However, you'd be surprised of how many of those questions have already been answered on past Peak Cycle YouTube episodes. Yes, I did an entire segment on those wheels. Those wheels were built by Warren Wong, just one of a few resources throughout the country, personal affiliates of mine. Just to name a few, you got Mark Deasy up in Northern California. You've got Dom at the Cruiser Shop, also in Northern California. Sick Nick out in New York City. Those are just a few. You got to check them out. As for looking up past Peak Cycle YouTube episodes, take a look at this real quick. So when visiting the Peak Cycles YouTube channel, I not only numbered the episodes for easy reference, but in the title are the main topics for that day. I also try to make a point of adding a thumbnail, also in reference to the topic for that day. So there you go. Please don't get me wrong. I love when people ask questions. People asking me all the time, where do you get this? Where do you get that? I have no problem referring you to anybody if I may be of any help. Let's keep it moving to that board tracker. Well, here's where we are with this. And originally I was going to sleeve the last piece here between the transition there and the dropout. Except for now I'm getting this crazy idea to make it single piece from that seam all the way back. Which means I need to get back on that. Wish me luck. Well, looky here. Gotta be honest, I was not looking forward to doing those again. However, I am stoked for a few reasons. One less sleeve. It's going to be much cleaner. 2, overall strength. And 3, a hell of a lot less work. Okay, I think we got it. After much adjustment and push here, shove there, literally. I think we are good. What now? I don't want to touch it. Actually, I'm going to tack those sleeves right there as they sit. I'll bring it back on the table. We'll make sure we're all squared up and check it again. Ah, man. I actually had in mind to have part 2, finish up that frame with a mock-up on the ground, but I had so much video that I am going to split it, and you're going to have to wait till next week. So, that is pretty much going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's version of what's happening with Peak Cycles. And until next time, make it a killer day.